Hello, and today I want to focus on an endgame study. There's going to be two endgames here. These two studies come from Jeremy Silman's book, Silman's Complete Endgame Course from Beginner to Master. I really suggest it. I've worked through the first three chapters. The fourth chapter is the longest chapter. It's dedicated to Class C players, which is in the rating range of 1400 to 1599, which is about where I am in terms of chess.com rating. So I'm going to start studying the endgames in this book. But first, a position, which this is a new endgame principle I've learned recently, is the distant opposition here. So when we play chess, there are two types of opposition, or actually more than two types of opposition. There are quite a few types of opposition. One that is most popular is direct opposition, which is what we see here. Depending on who is to move, determines who gets the opposition. And the opposition occurs when it's your move, and you move, and there's an odd number of squares between the kings here for direct opposition. So if it's white to move, he would move here, and keeping the opposition, he can now infiltrate this way, or he can keep the opposition this way as well. There is also diagonal opposition. So here on this diagonal, whoever is to move has the opposition, because now black's king must concede a square. And also there's distant opposition of both types. So in this position we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares between the kings here, and so whoever is to move does not have the opposition, because there will only be 1, 2, 3, 4 squares now, and white will move, and there will be 3 squares, so white has the opposition. If king there, then we just have another example of close opposition, close diagonal opposition. But here the new concept that I've learned is called distant. It's another type of distant opposition, but it's one where you can't have the opposition based off of the diagonal squares. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares, and yes, white would have the opposition by going here, and that's our move that we're going to make, but also he can gain the opposition by making a square here, and whenever you land on your square, you want it to match the color of your opponent. So white to move, he has the opposition because he builds this box on the same colors as black's king. No matter where he goes, so here, where is our next move? We need to find white squares that form a box against the king. So there we go. If he goes here, then we find another box, and that's our move. And if he goes here, then we keep on boxing him in, and now we have the diagonal opposition, direct diagonal opposition. Okay, so I hope that concept makes sense to you. If you have any questions, let me know. And next, the first example from his book on Class C players is this one, and it's white to move and win. However, we have to really think about this move here, because if black is able to get in front of our pawn and our king is next to our pawn, then it's going to be a draw. So first of all, it looks logical to do what we were just doing and build a box, right? But king f2, and it looks fine, like we're going to have the opposition. But black can draw by going to king g7, and if we try to build another box, king f6, king f4, trying to take the king f4 or king e4. You can take the close opposition here, but the black king just slips across, and this would be a basic draw. So we need to find a solution that's better. Sorry. And the answer here isn't to just go straight in and try to take the opposition that way, because any way that we try to take the opposition is going to fail and be a draw. So instead, we need to go king e2 with intentions of coming here. And the difference is that, well, we can't have the opposition on the right hand side of the pawn, but we can get the opposition on the left hand side. So king e2, and let's say black just continues with king g7. It's logical, he's moving towards the pawn, moving towards the queen side here. And now king d3, logical, moving on the white squares, trying to get over here and take the opposition. King f6, king c4, continuing with our plan, and now king e6, king c5, and the king is forced back to d7, and now we have the direct opposition. So that's how we would solve this endgame position. It looks complicated, but you have to count out all these steps and see if the opponent can get in and make a draw by getting to d6. And yeah, it's very difficult to see without knowing how to play this. I would probably try to play this kind of a idea, but best is to go to a side where you will get there first, and once you're there, you'll be able to have the opposition. So this is just an interesting endgame, and that's the best way to play it. And hopefully I'll be learning lots more things I can teach you guys about these kinds of endgames. So see you next time.